episode of Talking Fast. Alongside me, just like every week, every Wednesday, is manager Jacob. Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Sarah.
Vibe
it's nice
check?
to be introduced that way, because I feel like we've strayed a little bit from the initial episode when it was for the foreseeable future. That hasn't been mentioned very often, so I feel like
That's
I'm locked
true.
in here.
I might have to bring that back now that you've brought it up.
How are you, Sarah?
I'm all right. Vibes are good. I'm excited for this episode, but I'm more excited to hear, what are you drinking or eating this
I'm
week?
eating this week, and it's actually, listen.
I mean, I hope you're eating every week, but what
It's
specifically?
been 2 weeks since my last bit of sustenance. No, this one, listen, I'm keeping the summer theme going. Mm-hmm. You know what I had the other day?
No.
A s'more. Who
Love
doesn't
s'mores.
like a s'more?
Love
right?
s'mores.
The
The perfect dessert.
Now listen, classic graham cracker, marshmallow, little bit of milk chocolate. Amazing.
Do you have like a brand preferred for the milk chocolate?
Jersey milk for sure.
Okay, that's a good option.
Yeah.
I'm like a dairy milk or Jersey milk. It just depends on what's at the convenience store.
You know what I should have gone to a convenience store. I went to a grocery store, and it was a little bit too high end. And I couldn't find the kind of like mid-range chocolate I was looking for, so I had to go and get some like.
They also sell like s'mores kits now. Like Aero has its own one, and Kit Kat, and
Do you
like
mess around with those?
and Reese's. We tried one at the cottage. And the Aero was actually good. Aero chocolate worked really well with it, but I wouldn't mess with like the peanut butter or anything. I don't want to like mess with the integrity of the s'mores.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Not necessarily peanut butter, but little experimentation when it comes to the s'mores. You know what I did?
What'd
I
you
don't
do?
even know if I saw someone do this. I think I just saw someone eating a
I
croissant.
mean, you
and I
sometimes
was
make
like,
some weird combinations
yeah,
of things.
this
so-
is true. But I saw someone eating a croissant, and I was just like, a croissant. I was like, I want one of those
Okay.
in s'more form. So I actually went to the grocery store, and they had in the bakery aisle, you know, like the mini croissants.
Yeah.
I got those, and then just sliced down the middle, and then as you would make a s'more,
So
chocolate.
you just like a s'more
and-
sandwich kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It held up. I would give it a solid like 7.8 out of 10.
That's not bad. Actually, I might have to try that out sometime.
Yeah, just get the croissants at the. I've said this like 5 different ways.
I was gonna say your pronunciation each time. I'm like hanging on.
croissant. Make sure that you get them fresh, because I had them the next day, and I think that took off a couple of points because
yeah,
they were a
not
little
good.
stale.
Not good.
What about you? What are you eating or drinking?
Well, as everyone knows, because I don't shut up about it on the internet, it's the only way I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm training for a half marathon right now. Ran my first 10K the other day.
Huge.
By the time this goes, it will be weeks later. Actually, side note, when this goes out, I'm going to be in Budapest for work, and I will see if I have signed. They're doing a media 10K, and you
Oh,
get to
fun.
run through the city, and it's like a proper race.
As part of World Athletics?
Yeah, so I might do it. Anyways, with that, I'm drinking a lot of BioSteel, but I'd never tried BioSteel before. Went to
Okay.
Costco. BioSteel has these like 25 pack things, and they have this one that tastes like the Rocket, like
candies?
the Rocket, like oh my god,
Popsicle.
the Rocket popsicle. So they taste like the
Okay.
Rocket popsicles, but they are addicting. They're so yummy. Honestly, I get excited for the end of my run because I treat myself with a Rocket BioSteel. Not sponsored. I wish. Like those things. Nolan and I literally just drove to Costco the other day to re-up only on BioSteel. Like we walked into Costco, bought strictly another case of BioSteel, and walked out. It was honestly very impressive for us. Normally that doesn't happen.
And you're getting like your electrolytes, a little bit of sugars to replenish after your
100%,
training, right?
100%. They're so delicious. They have a bunch of really fun flavors, and I'd never tried it before. So I highly recommend BioSteel if you're looking for something other than a Gatorade. Gatorade tastes too sweet now.
This might be a wild question, but do you drink it cold or like room temperature?
No, well, you could drink at room temperature, but I keep them in the fridge.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
rule is 1 for 1. So if you take one out of the fridge, you put one in.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that's
Constant-
a rule.
yeah,
Some
other-
people don't know the etiquette.
No, they don't. And then Nolan and I fight over it. So
What are you watching this week?
I'm so excited that a new season of Only Murders in the Building came out. So that's the show with Martin Short and Steve Martin and Selena Gomez.
Oh, yeah.
And this season, it's almost Okay, you know when a cast, like The Bear kind of did this, when a cast gets like too famous and there's like too many like really big stars in
I remember
it.
seeing a promo for this season, and there were like
Meryl
Streep,
Streep is
a
in
ton of
it.
people popping up.
Paul Rudd is in it.
Right.
The girl from Emily in Paris, Ashley Park, is in it. Oh my god, I'm missing. There's even more. Oh, the really hot guy from Grey's Anatomy, Jesse Williams. Anyways, Jesse Williams, I think his name is, from Grey's Anatomy. So honestly, a lot of eye candy and a lot of great actors in it, but to a point where it kind of pulls me out of the show a bit. But regardless, it's so funny. If you've never seen Only Murders in the Building, this is your sign to go watch it. I didn't know what it was going to be about, but it's very fun. It's a fun watch.
Okay, I haven't checked it out, so maybe I'll do that.
What about you? What are you watching right now?
Well, for me, I think you maybe even mentioned this a few episodes back because everyone on your trip down south was quoting it.
Yes.
I think you should leave.
Yeah, I have only watched the first season, but the guys in my life, they literally get together and wait for the new season and don't watch it with anyone else, and they don't watch it until they can all watch it together, and then they watch it 2 times all the way through the first night, and then they spend the rest of the year annoying us and quoting it every 2 seconds.
It's so funny. It's just like, okay, Tim Robinson,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Tim Robinson used to be an SNL writer, but now it's like his sketch comedy show essentially. I found it really funny, but I also found I'm only a few episodes in the first season, and there are so many like one-liners that I think have just been floating around in the background of like pop culture that have been like friends of mine have said that I didn't realize were
from I
pulls
Think You
from
Should
this
Leave.
show.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like I'm catching up on maybe
Like, have you got to the
zeitgeist.
chunky one yet? The chunky
No.
episode? Okay, well, I always say that's chunky, and like you'll understand once you like, that's the only thing I say from that show. But they or the don't talk, like that's another one from the chunky episode. So anyways,
Okay, I gotta watch
there's
some more.
there's a few that like are just ingrained in my brain. But yes, I think you should leave. It's got some it's like when Vine culture, everyone would say like the one-liners from Vine.
Yes.
That's kind of what I think you should leave has done.
And some good actors in it as well. That
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, oh, I know that person. I know this person.
I know the comedy scene's really small.
Yeah.
What are you listening to this week?
Okay. I don't know what Spotify did to just serve this directly to me, but I was like, this hits. This is exactly what I want to be listening to, especially as we move into, I don't want to like kill anyone's vibe, but closer to the end of the year, say? What? Only a few months left?
We're still in Q3. Don't say that. We're still in Q3.
But we are only about 2.5 months or 2 months left of Spotify listening history to add to your Spotify year
Wrapped,
in
yes.
review. So this is your notification PSA that if maybe you have some questionable artists on what you think is going to be your year-end Wrapped, start listening to
That's
some
true. You have
other
2 months.
artists.
You have 2 months.
2 months to get your year in review to be a little bit cooler, which is always my goal. I always try to do that.
How
'cause
many
I got-
different genres do you listen to last year? Like
I
1,200 or something?
No, I think it was like 2,000.
It's
I'm
insane.
typically in the like low thousands of genres per year, which is wild. There can't be that many genres. But I've just been listening to my year X in review or year Wrapped, whatever it's called, that just keep popping up for some reason on my
I like
playlist.
that.
Yeah, so I've been checking out 2020, which was 3 years ago. It's wild.
It's so funny that you thought about that because it's so funny that you're talking about that because literally today I thought about, I've only been listening to Taylor Swift and Noah Kahan the entire year. And
Right.
who I'm still listening to is Noah Kahan. He's my favorite person to run to. So that's why I think he's the perfect mix of like upbeat and folky, but it kind of makes me feel like I'm running through the forest on a cross country team
Yes.
again. So I'm really excited because he's coming to Toronto in September and I'm going to go see him and I'm so excited.
Okay, and also actually one thing that I would listen to this week as well, there's a great podcast called Song Exploder, and they kind of work with, each episode features one artist, and they kind of break down their track of how it was written, how it was recorded. They'll do like test tracks that are unreleased and stuff to show you what it
that's cool.
originally was, or like voice memos that they recorded to themselves. So he was actually on it recently and
that's
did
cool.
Stick Season was the song
Ooh,
feature.
I'll have to go listen to
really
that.
cool episode. Check it out.
This will be the first time hosting a podcast that I have no idea what any of the questions are because we are joined by Izzy. She calls herself Intern Izzy. She's very much a paid employee of the Talking Fast team. She's usually behind the desk over there making sure we look good, sound good. But now she looks good and is about to sound good, and she is here to run the show this episode. Izzy, welcome to Talking Fast. How are you feeling being on this side of the camera in the microphone and sitting at the table that you always yell at us for tapping?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but that's okay. We'll just get off. We'll get some jokes in, and then I'll be fine. But
I'm a little nervous too because we've joked from one of the first episodes that you were going to eventually take my job, and you've gone from that chair over there to now this chair.
In only a matter of like 30 episodes, too.
Now it's only a couple of feet left before this is gone from.
You got a
from
little
me, too.
cocky in the beginning of the show saying that I haven't
I
brought
know,
up
I did, yeah.
that I haven't brought up the foreseeable future. So I guess this kind of is like a co-host audition, so no pressure.
I mean, it's a
we'll-
preview for season 2, and I play the long game, Jacob. So
I've got no strategy, so I'm just shaking in my boots, I guess.
She's just been like daggerized you the entire like season, just whatever. But okay, so Izzy actually prepped this entire episode. Jacob and I have no idea what the questions are. All we were told is that the theme is back to school.
BTS.
BTS. Izzy, take it away. I don't know what to do when I don't have all the notes in front of me.
You're going to ask us questions though, right?
Yeah. No. I'm just gonna let you guys play off of each other. That's how
Well.
it usually goes, and then. No, I'll have some questions for you guys. Obviously, I'm excited to pick your brains. We did learn that Jacob was homeschooled, so
We
that
learned
was
that
It's true.
today.
I feel
That was
like
exciting.
I had to toss this out in the group chat because I was like, do you guys understand that as we're looking at the topic, the theme for this episode being back to school? And I was like, listen, I'm not going to be able to contribute anything to the like lunchable lunchroom exchange or like dollar pizza day or like anything like that.
The
like how your
chocolate
mind
milk
went
sales.
to that though. Like your first thought when I said back to school was like, let's give them like
all
middle school, high school, and not like university, college.
Yeah,
Like we
that's
were all
true.
gonna really go back in like our old journals and try to remember.
That's what I pictured too. But yeah, learning Jacob was homeschooled. My first question to him was, "You have really good social skills, though. So how did that work?"
Well, I mean, I think that that's just a stereotype that
It's
did you ever
perpetuated by
did you ever watch-
mainstream media.
Yeah, sure. Did you ever watch? Wow, what was the show called? Was Kimmy Schmidt homeschooled? You watch that? Yeah.
Well, no, Kimmy Schmidt lived in a bunker.
I mean,
because
she was homeschooled because there were a lot
she
of
was
other things going on.
kidnapped and she lived in a bunker.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, there was no kidnapping in my childhood, thankfully, but I
Being
was
homeschooled is
homeschooled.
exciting enough, I guess.
But homeschooled to clarify, for elementary school, he did get a high school experience.
Yes, this is true. And then on to, as you referred to, as the university as
Which
well.
isn't bad because middle school was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah.
So like middle school sucks. Elementary school is fine.
Why is that?
Because middle school is when like girls start to become bitches and like
Whoa.
yeah, hard B. We're a rated E for explicit podcast. No, because like girls start to go through puberty and like everyone's looking different and like some like just it's a really weird time and then that's just the worst.
It's ruthless time.
Yeah, it's
People are
really
getting
are
bullied,
unfiltered,
like
but they're
left.
from
unfiltered with
ages
each
like
other.
yeah, like grade 7, grade 8, like ages like 12 to 14. It's like
So I really didn't miss much.
you literally missed nothing.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
I'll take it. So let's move on to university, maybe.
So Izzy, guide us through the podcast.
Yes.
Go ahead. What were you thinking?
And also, shout out, I want to say this, Sarah, you always say like how I'm not an intern and I'm not, but you advocate for paid internships. So whenever you
I
say I'm
do.
paid, I have a different title, but Sarah does advocate for paid internships.
I do
wanna
advocate
say
for
Important.
it. Yeah, that's true. You do always bring that up. If
Especially
we did
with
have,
RTA,
yes,
advocate for yourself to have a paid internship. But I just want to know, how did you guys pick the school you went to, the university? I'm sure you guys
It's a good question.
like. Why did you pick it? And what was in the
because-
thought process?
You know that song "Mastermind" by Taylor Swift? That was me in 9th grade. No, I went on a tour of Bell Media when I was in 9th grade because my dad was actually running the Toronto Marathon, and Bell had and so we needed something to do during the day when being in the city, and my mom and I went to the Bell Open House. They did it at like their
Oh, yeah.
Scarborough campus. They used to do this like open house thing where you could go and tour all the studios and stuff. Meet some of the people on shows, and I went and I met Seamus O'Regan, who used to host Canada AM.
oh yeah,
This is very niche.
Now a politician.
Now he's a politician, and I asked him. The funniest part is I'm picturing myself with like silly bands all on my arm in 9th grade, and I'm just like this little like brace face, and I was like, I want to have your job. What can I do to have your job? And he said, go to the RTA School of Media. And that's where he had gone. And then I immediately knew what the RTA School of Media was. My mom, who works in the university sector, was super judgy about TMU, formerly Ryerson at the time. She goes, Ryerson, that's not a good school, whatever. Obviously, she was wrong. And I just did everything I could to go to, I knew I wanted to go to media school. I looked up all the other alumni. So I always knew I wanted to go to RTA School of Media. And then the year that I was applying was the year that the sport media program popped up. And when I got into both programs, media production and sport media, I chose sport media because I wanted to be in a smaller class size. It was only 60 students being accepted. And I knew that there would be more opportunities being part of a first graduating class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like TMU, especially RTA, had that. It used to be. I think the university hate maybe came from. It used to be considered what was it
A
called?
polytechnic
Polytechnic
institute,
like
yes.
some more similar to a college, a little bit more
Exactly.
hands-on. But that was something that attracted me more so than like.
I don't know, like a Western media program or something.
Yeah,
It's very theoretical.
Like, so, and I actually applied to both film. My first ideal program actually was film at TMU, and then I got waitlisted, and I got into film at York. But for the same reason, that was more of a theoretical
As opposed to hands-on.
program. Yeah, so I turned down that, even though they're like trying to give me a scholarship there too. I was like, I would rather be downtown Toronto
Same.
as well
I was
for
the same.
like outside of school
Yeah. Instead
parts of
being all
it,
the way
like
up in
changing up my
York.
life from like moving from Waterloo. a smaller city, which, we touched on a few episodes ago, to Toronto. And then what attracted me to it as well was there like different streams that you could go into within the program itself. And I think that that's probably something that's true for most university programs, right? Unless you're doing like general art, well, maybe even general arts, that you can stream into something that you're interested in once you kind of get your handle.
Well, yeah, because like I didn't know a producer was a job until I was like in RTA, and then you learn about all of those things when you're there, right?
Yeah, right. And I kind of streamed more into the business side of things,
100%.
And producing as well.
Business of producing.
Yeah.
101 and 102. What about you, Izzy? How did you end up? Izzy's also an RTA alum as well. So sorry if this is really inside baseball for all of you.
You can tell we really keep it in the family. For RTA, it really is like that. Whenever we have an RTA guest, we're like, RTA collab. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
So a big component for the sport media program for me was the internship part, honestly. Like when I was looking at it, other than also like we mentioned like TV lab, like the hands-on part as well as the theory was something that was really great. Also the campus, like I remember in my grade 12 year, because I took 12X, because I remember going to every university and being like, so I have no desire to go to any of these.
What is 12X?
Is that taking an extra year?
Yeah, it's like a
it's a victory lab.
Grade 13.
The victory lab. Yeah,
you used to have to take grade 13. I remember my parents told me you had to take it to go
that
to
was
university
until
at one
in
point.
the 90s they got rid of that. But yeah. Victory lab is what we called
Victory
it.
lab.
12X. Sounds
Yeah.
That sounds cooler though.
Yeah, that's what we all called it. But I just remember in grade 12, mind you, I was going into I was like, I'll do science or math, like, well, these kind of programs. And I remember stepping on all those campuses and being like, I have no desire to be here, and I don't have that like exciting, nervous energy that all my friends came back to school telling me about.
Where were you touring? Like,
I
which
was
campus?
touring beautiful
Call 'em out.
campuses.
Call 'em
No,
out.
but they're all beautiful
What schools
campuses.
Izzy didn't like?
And deep down,
Name
you know what?
Queens.
But deep down, I know it's because none of the programs called for me. So it's like I would go to the beautiful campus of Guelph, and I'm like, can I imagine doing like health science here? Like the thought of doing those classes was
Can
the
I
bigger
picture
deal.
myself with my feet being stuck to the floor of trappers? All of those things.
Yeah, no. And like I remember I went to U of T and I toured the campus, this beautiful St. George campus, and that's when it worried me when I toured a Toronto university, and I was like, oh, I don't have the spark that I thought I would for Toronto.
Oh.
And then in my 12X year, we went, and it's funny because my dad obviously got very excited when he heard sport media. He was like, you can get me free Leaf tickets. And I was like, I don't think we're there yet, Dad. But when I stepped on the TMU campus, I was like, this is Toronto. This is downtown. Like it was that downtown energy. And because I was initially going into media production, like I went to, what is it called? Like they just talked about the programs. What was it called?
University fairs?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
It wasn't the fair because it
Open
was only,
house?
yes,
Open
it was like an
house.
open house. And so, yeah, long story short, they were talking about media production, and that's what had caught my eye. And then they mentioned the sport media program, and I was like, this I kind of like. And then I went through the program and
I
like
probably
the
worked your
interviews and
open
all
house,
that.
which is so embarrassing for me.
No, I didn't see you. That's the thing. When you said you worked all of them, I
did
didn't
work
see you.
all of
And
them.
like the exam, or not the exam, sorry, but like
The
remember
testing.
we had to write.
You guys
for
had
my
to
class, we had
test
to do
to
an
get in?
essay.
The
and an
essay,
interview.
the essay and the interview.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know you just had to send in like an application.
There was an
They brought
essay.
back the interviews though for my year. Anyways, we're
But
getting
they
so
took them
off track,
out.
and this is way too inside
I know.
RTA. So, what's your
Yeah.
next question?
So, well, because I know you guys roomed in dorms, I would love for you to talk about your off-campus dorms, but you were in Pittman. Like
Pittman
I
Hall.
was.
Oh,
So what
okay.
are some dorm room essentials? But also, I want to hear the inside scoop on, you got waitlisted for dorms. You don't live in the GTA area. What
It's
do you do?
so tough with TMU because it's a commuter school, and then like for anyone moving into Toronto, I think it's still like this, moving into Toronto to try to get into residence, there's a really small number
It
of
goes by how many kilometers you
spots.
are.
Yeah, and I was like, I live 150 kilometers away. Why am I not getting in? And I didn't get in. I ended up living in, I think it was at the time called Campus Common. It's like called something
the
else
checkered
now.
floors.
Yeah, which is basically the same as residence because it's essentially on campus across from one of the main
But
buildings.
it's just like you're not under the university. It's
Yeah,
a private
there were other
company.
student. It was all student housing though, so there
Yeah.
were people from George Brown, there were people from
And they
U of
have
T.
like people that like still live on the floor that are kind of like an RA, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But that was actually my second place where I moved. I moved into Neil Weisig.
You left Neil
I've known
Weisig?
about Neil Weisig.
I left Neil Weisig after a week of living there.
Really?
Yeah, to put it on blast a little bit, a little sketchy, and it's individual rooms. It's exactly like a dorm, individual rooms, and then like one big common area. So I had 5 roommates when I moved in, and upon the day I moved in, one of them comes to me and it's just like, "Oh, just remember to keep your door locked because we have a roommate who sells drugs out of her room, and like people come in and they steal our shit all the time."
Jeez.
So I was like, okay. And I
Like,
was
get
like
me
this
outta
really
here.
green kid, you know, like it's not the thing I want to be walking into. So I went home after that, like after Frosh, and I was like, I think I have to move.
So
I
I guess
did.
Jacob's dorm room essentials is bring a lock.
Honestly,
If your room doesn't have
Bring
one
a
already.
bring a lock
What's
or
your-
say goodbye to your laptop.
Oh my god.
gosh.
I lived in Pittman Hall. Pit 14, penthouse, shout out. Pittman Hall looks exactly like what a resident looks like for those that don't know, on a, like, I don't know, a television show. Kind of like a cell, kind of like it's just got the brick that's like yellowy and it's been there forever. I lived in a room where I had my own private room and I had a roommate, and then we shared one bathroom and had a little common area, which was great. And it was a girl I actually grew up with in Coburg. I loved living in residence because I'm a little social butterfly, and I loved that I could just go knock on my friends' doors downstairs and go, "Hi, can you make me a grilled cheese?" And like, that was my life. I loved it. I loved having my food right down. I don't know. I loved everything about res life because everything was so convenient.
I did like going to visit people who were in residence and they had like the card that they had to spend by the end of
the
the
meal
thing.
plan cards. Yeah,
And they'd,
exactly.
like, just
And you'd
swipe out candy.
or
and
you'd
stuff.
go and just buy a bunch of mixers for alcohol and stuff. I loved living in res though. I loved getting to decorate my little res room. I printed off all the photos of my friends and like had all my little fairy lights and all of that stuff. But I genuinely like loved living in residence. I got involved in res, all of that.
Were you ever an RA?
No. But if I was living in residence now, my essentials would be, first of all, those little like caddies they try and sell you and stuff. You don't actually need one of those. I don't think
Definitely
so.
not.
You don't. That's like just Walmart trying to upsell you and everything. I would say make sure you just have a mattress pad topper. That's my number one most important thing for living in residence, is like a memory foam, because
Oh.
the mattresses in res are not comfortable. So bring I got like this really thick memory foam mattress thing. Incredible. I had like the most comfy bed in all of residence and then I also got like a really nice pillow, and then I always had a great night's sleep. It was perfect. That would be like my number one thing to bring. Other than that, I don't know, bring things like make it feel like home. My family did this really cute thing when I went to university where they all wrote me little notes of encouragement, because I was like the first like granddaughter to go off into university, and I had this like, so then when I was like feeling discouraged, I could read a little note. That was really cute. And then like photos of friends and family from home. And also when your parents come and drop you off for the first time, make sure that they buy you a ton of snacks,
I was
because
gonna
you will
say,
rip
and
through
just
them.
like basics for cooking. You're probably not gonna do it a ton, but it's a great way to save money and just to have stuff around.
I
is nice.
would
Although,
like to say I used my cooking stuff a lot. I like made mac and cheese like 3 times maybe.
I had a kitchen in my dorm
Did
room,
you?
and I was like, I picked that one on purpose. I was like, I want 4 roommates with the kitchen, and
Yeah.
I ate pasta all the time. I loved it. But I would say sandals on top. The mattress topper is so important. Even if you get DCC or you get like a newer residence building that they somehow like have comfier bedding, mattress topper can never hurt.
Always get
Yeah.
memory foam
Sandals.
sandals.
For
Ooh.
the bathrooms, I don't know if you share a bathroom with 1 roommate, 4 roommates, a whole floor. Shower sandals.
Shower sandals is smart. That's a good idea.
What about you, Jacob? Or even what you wouldn't bring.
I would say don't do what I did, and if you don't have a shower curtain, get one right away.
What?
Oh,
How
they
is
should
that?
come with the shower
How
curtain.
is that not the first thing you go and buy?
I had everything packed. Everything you
need
could
a
think
shower
of.
curtain.
Well, I thought I'm probably not going to need one, and I get in, and there was no shower curtain. And
That Bath and Beyond was like a stone's throw away from
I
you, though.
know, but I was just like, do I really need one? I have a big shower, so I didn't have one for 2 months.
2 months? Not 2 weeks?
I was a menace. I just pointed the shower inward.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm not proud of it.
But we
This is a
didn't
tip
need-
to get one.
You don't always need shower curtains. I think now you can look up like YouTube, Pittman Hall, like people do great vlogs, and so you should do that before you go into your dorm to know.
Yes.
At any
Because
university you go to,
mine
there's
did it,
someone.
yeah. Western has
TikTokers, there's
Yeah.
somebody that's made a video of your residence, so just check out what they actually
But
have.
yeah, I didn't need a shower curtain. Mine just was a door that closed.
Whoa.
It was kind of like
Yeah, that's because you're in a shared room.
yes.
What else do you got for us, Iz?
Well, I also want to know, I think the biggest question is, how do you make friends at university? Mind you, when you're an extroverted person especially, what are some good tips and tricks to making friends, especially in your first year?
I mean, I just talked to everyone. And I tried to move around a little bit in classes. I think one thing that I saw a lot of people do is like pigeonhole themselves with one friend group of like 4 or 5 people. And then they kind of just took all the same classes together and they just went through the whole program together. Whereas I was like, I'm going to go and sit with these people over here in this class. And then I'm going to take a different class. I'm going to sit over there with those people and just spread yourself out a little bit.
Yeah, I was very similar. I just like, it depends on your school, but I think a lot of schools have like different types of like frosh weeks too. So like, I know our school there was res frosh, which was like if you lived in residence, you got to go to that frosh and those activities. There was general TMU frosh, which was like the bigger activities. And then there was also specific school and program froshes. So that was 3 opportunities to meet 3 different groups of people if you get involved with different things. That's the easiest. I think the biggest piece of advice though, I think the biggest piece of advice though, even if you're extroverted or introverted, I don't think it really matters, is that everybody's in the same boat when you're going to university. I talked about this a few episodes ago about how like university is a really great opportunity to like reinvent yourself or to start fresh, and you can leave all the stuff behind about who you are back home because you're a new person. If you're normally an introvert back home, you can be an extrovert and no one would know the difference. I just think that everyone's in the same boat as you. So just being the first person to maybe make a connection or something is really special because everybody there is trying to make friends and everyone there is nervous and anxious. So having that good energy and that welcoming energy, I think goes a really long way. And I mean, I'm still like best friends with like the group of like 10 to 15 people that I met in my first few weeks of school because of that. So I just think everyone's in the same boat. So just don't be afraid to be the person that makes the first connection.
And find someone else off campus that has a house or something like that and doesn't mind throwing parties and just help them throw parties.
Yeah, help
But
them
if you're
throw
in
parties.
res, like,
And make
Pullman was
friends with
known
somebody
for
that's a
that.
year older.
Yeah.
Wow, these are some great tips and tricks, guys. I'm sure the parents are hearing this and loving
You don't have to
it.
drink if you don't want to. I didn't.
You don't have
I
to.
didn't really drink my first year of university.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not really.
I drank way too much my first year of university. Sorry, mom and dad.
We love to hear it. What a great role model. But
Thanks.
I also had, what are some expectations and realities you think people should have going into university? Because high school is, even middle school, it's so different in such a different environment when you go into university. What do you think are some expectations they should have and some reality checks they should have when they go into university or college?
I think the biggest facade is that when you go to university, you're an adult. Like, I think like it's like, oh, you're 18, you're out of the house, like you're going to the big city, you're an adult now. Like university is perfectly set up to be a transition into adulthood. Residence, all these places, like literally like residence, if you like screw up or something happens to you, there's like adults there to help you still. There's people around you to support you. There's like people that sit at the front desk and make sure that no one comes in to try and like rob you or something, depending on where you live.
You'd hope so.
And so I think it like now looking back, look at university is the perfect like transition. And I think I didn't think about it that way when I was in school. I thought I was like, I'm a grown up. I live in Toronto. I'm like so old, blah, blah. Like, settle down, Sarah. You're like 18 wearing like 3-inch heels to the club and trying to like, it was ridiculous. So I think looking back though, it's a good transition period to be able to try out new things and just, I don't know, like figure out who you are a little bit, because you do have the cradle of like being in an institution and having support systems and like all of these resources to you that also don't really cost you anything because you're already paying for the tuition, right? So I think it's like pre-adulthood, which I didn't think about it at the time when I was there. I thought I was a full-blown adult when I went to university. What about you?
I think it's somewhat similar. For me, one of the like turning points was realizing how less structure there is, I think, at the same time with regard to the type of schoolwork that you're actually doing. You're going to classes that are sometimes at wildly different points in the day. It's not like you go to school at 8:30 in the morning and you're done in the afternoon at the same time.
Or like 9 to 5 or something.
Yeah. And sometimes you're going to different buildings all over campus. Like it could be a pretty big change to get used to scheduling your day. And I think that that's maybe like one of the biggest things I had to get used to.
Don't take a Friday morning class. You will always regret it. Don't take a Friday morning 8 a.m. You will always regret it.
Yeah.
Should you ever
Or
take
a
an
Monday
8 a.m. class, though?
a Monday morning 8 a.m. Any 8 a.m.s, don't take them at all. You will think, oh my God, I really want to take this class. It's not worth it.
10
I don't
a.m.
care.
10 a.m. max.
I don't care if Ryan Gosling's teaching that class. It's not worth it to be on a Friday morning at 8 a.m. Like 10 is like acceptable.
Did you ever schedule your, like, choose which classes you were going to take to make your schedule look good?
100%. My favorite.
I was going 3-day weeks.
I was a
me
3-day
too.
week. No
Me
classes
too.
on Mondays or Fridays ever.
And I missed out on some classes that I really wanted to take because of that.
Did
but
you
I'm
get
like,
any further ahead because of those classes? Absolutely not.
I could have maybe had like a minor in something, but like, has
Yeah.
anyone looked at my degree? No.
No.
But yeah, no, the 8 a.m. classes, you'll probably get them as your core classes.
Yeah,
For
you'll
my
have to
take
students,
a
I got
couple.
them as my core classes, and I was like,
You'll have to take
One
them
is
a
good
couple
enough.
times, but yeah.
But that's also a good time to make friends, because then you're like, oh, 8 a.m. We're all suffering together,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Well, were there any extracurriculars that you guys did during school that also helped you make friends or find community beyond? I know we got lucky with, I think, RTA. Like, a lot of our friends, I would assume, are within, like, those programs
Yeah.
because we hung out a lot. But was there anything you guys did extracurricular-wise that you got to meet other
Well,
people from different programs?
Different programs.
Yeah, a little bit.
We were both on Curtis, though, which is like the course union of
Yeah.
RTA, and that was essentially planning social events and
Yeah.
various other events
very
throughout
on
the
brand
year.
for Jacob and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also a really good excuse to be like, you know what? We haven't had a party with our whole program for a while.
Or like J School versus RT
Karaoke,
karaoke, or
I was
those
just
types
gonna
of things,
say.
like different events,
Oh,
bar
we
nights,
didn't
stuff
have
like that.
that.
I know it
got
got real. It
rid-
got real lame after we left.
I don't
It
know
was
about lame.
heated when
No,
I
it
was
was
there.
heated. Like it was like you did not miss J School versus RTA karaoke. It was like the thing. It was at the Ram and the
Yeah.
Rye,
And,
and
like,
you
we
went.
would
It
show
was like a
up at-
Thursday
We
night.
did love Ram in the Rye, but we didn't have those events.
We would show up for RTA versus journalism karaoke probably at like 2 p.m. Maybe probably between like 2.
I think
You were
only
getting
Jacob
ready.
was showing up
12
at
and
2
2.
p.m.
No, I was
setting up,
getting
he was
everyone
scouting it
going.
out.
Well, like they did it in one area of the student bar there. So we would just get everyone to amass in the front because it's really tough to perform well as a journalism student if you're sitting in front or singing
all
in
the
front of
RTA
all the
students.
RTA
That's true.
people. And we were obnoxious.
Wow.
But I would just say, like, don't think like you're too. If we're looking for like advice or something about like how to actually meet more people and get involved, it's like I didn't get really involved in my first year and I regretted it. And then my other 3 years,
Same.
I was like overly involved. Like I did so many things and just saying yes to everything. Because again, like it's the only time in your life that you really like you don't have. I mean, you might have like a part-time job, but it's like you're not really reporting to anyone. You can do as much or as little as you want to, which is a really unique time. And you get to meet so many cool people. I got to go to VidCon twice because of getting involved
really
in
cool.
stuff within my university. Like there's different opportunities. And I know some of my friends like traveled to Africa and like did all these like huge like mission trips and like really cool stuff that your schools offer that you might not even realize unless you take the blinders off of just like what you do on your day-to-day in your program.
Yeah, one of the other last things I think I would say is that there was an Oakham Cafe. It was like the little
Oh,
cafe
hidden
in
gem.
the middle of campus, really.
Hidden
And a
gem.
lot of people probably have that at other schools
Yeah.
too, right? Like little coffee shops or whatnot that you can go to. Often, at least at Oakham, the prices were really, really affordable.
still good.
It was student run for lunch or breakfast or even dinner. I think
So
they
if
had
you
some good
didn't
options.
plan on going to TMU, this podcast is pretty
Yeah,
relevant to you.
No, but even getting like saying yes to everything, like
Yeah,
that people like if people invite you, like if you're in your first year especially and people invite you to go out, say yes. Like I remember even as an extroverted person I was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous, so I'm just gonna stay in my dorm room and see the people I know. But if like I had said yes, like I'm still friends with these people, but they would say, Izzy, I remember we invited you to this and you didn't come. And I was like, I was so nervous, but
Yeah.
everyone was there to meet other people. Like I
Yeah,
think
that's good advice.
at the end of the day, it's like you said, everyone's in that mindset. And then I had another question about, do you think you need to go to every class? I think
Absolutely
No,
not.
not a
debunking
chance.
some
Absolutely
things.
not. What you do is you end up dating someone like Nolan Cattell, who is a keener and does go to every single class. And then they take all the notes. And then you just take the notes and study for the exam. You cram study the night before, if you even study at all. And then
I was on the other side.
suffer through.
I dated someone in the program as well, and I was
The one that would go to class and get the
no,
notes?
we weren't in the same year, and I had taken some of the classes before.
Oh, so you're just
and I was like, I would rather go to this concert tonight, and she was like, well, I got to do this essay, and I'm like, just bring it here.
Okay, but you can't do that.
Oh.
Oh,
No,
but you
I
already
wasn't
did it,
plagiarizing
but
or
you would
anything.
write-
No,
you would
and
write
it wasn't the same essay. I was
Oh,
just like,
gotcha,
I know
gotcha.
what they're looking for. Let me
Oh,
help
true.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no,
yeah.
you don't have to go to every class. If there's a different opportunity or something in the moment, like missing one class will not like. I literally missed a month worth of classes because I worked on the Olympics. I was
And
like,
sometimes
this
you
is
just don't vibe with the professor, but you need the credit. You know what I mean?
100%. And like, if do you know what? As long as your attendance mark is just do the bare minimum. No one, unless you're maybe trying to get into like a law school or something. Hence why like Nolan actually went to class all the time. Unless you're trying to get into a law school or whatever, like. Put the effort into the classes that you think you're going to get the most out of. Other than that, those like electives you just have to take, do the minimum, do whatever you can, and then focus on other areas as long as it's being productive in another way.
Although I still do have a recurring dream that I missed getting an elective at university.
And that you didn't actually
and
graduate?
I didn't actually graduate.
That's
Do you
terrifying.
still get that dream to
I
this day
still
though?
do. Yeah.
That's
Oh
a
my
bit
God.
funny. But yeah, don't, especially if you're in your first year, don't say no to plans because you want to study. I say this like I wasn't on academic probation. That's different if you are. I missed out on seeing Adam Sandler because I was like, oh, I think I need to like write this report. My friends went to TIFF and they saw Adam Sandler.
I saw Adam Sandler my first year at
He was
TIFF
in
too.
TIFF, and I remember being
That's a good
like,
point.
and I still did well in school. Like, there's a time and a place, and so, yeah, don't say no to like everything, especially in the name of academics.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a master's, so like I needed to get good grades in university to be able to like, or in my bachelor to get it. But do you guys have any parting words of advice for people either in their first year, second, third, or even their fourth year of their bachelor's degree, not planning on going to school after? Like, what's your advice for them university wise
I would say
and college?
yes, in college. I think just take advantage of every opportunity you have at school. I genuinely loved university. Like I had a really great university experience, and I think it was very full and fulfilling because I got involved in so many things, and you have so much energy. Like, I mean, people say to me, I have a lot of energy all the time, but like, you should have seen me in like university. Like I was a little energizer bunny, and I never said a no to anything. I like said yes to everything. And I just think that gave me a really well-rounded experience. And yes, like I took classes that I liked and I went to class, but like, I also wasn't afraid to like we talked about earlier, know the time and place to like take other opportunities and whatever, but just get involved and just take full advantage and just, you know, go out on the Thursday night, the Friday, the Saturday, like just, you're going to like have memories like that with your friends forever, and just like live it up to the fullest. I miss university. I was a little young and wild and free, and I miss it a little bit. So you'll never have another time like that in your life. So.
Yeah, I would say don't let the grades, unless you really need them and you're going to be moving on to a master's or something like that, don't let the grades get in the way of also pursuing other projects.
I agree.
Aside from the social aspect of things, which is super important, of course, don't let grades get in the way of pursuing something on your own, especially if you have a really great idea. Don't wait. Or if you have the resources that your school is offering you, take advantage of those for your personal projects as well, outside of what they're hopefully trying to, or what they're making you do in class.
Yeah. And also take advantage of the resources in your school just in general. You're paying a lot of money to be there, so make sure you take advantage of every single one. The reason I started therapy was because it was covered in the university. You can use a personal trainer there's just so many things that are already included in your tuition that you don't even realize that you're paying for. So make sure you take advantage of every single thing that is going on there, and always go to an event if there's a free lunch. Always.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Bring a bag with you.
Yeah.
I like that.
What about you, Iz? What would be your piece of advice as someone going into a master's?
Oh, a master's. Well, my biggest piece of advice would be like, honestly, save up and get like a small digital camera. And this sounds weird, but print out pictures every year after like you go to university and have a photo album. I know that's weird.
From each year?
have
That's
that?
not weird. That's so wholesome.
I've been doing it. I did it my first year, and like when COVID hit and stuff, I got overwhelmed with school. But I would say, and I say get a camera because sometimes my iPhone camera, like photos actually don't turn out as well as I hope. Like the quality isn't there when it's on paper. But anyways, I think that's a cute little project of like make memories, and it's okay to take out your phone and encapsulate something because you do look back on it, especially if you're still friends with those people years later. So have fun and get into scrapbooking.
Oh, that's so cute. Especially because you're going to forget stuff. We're talking
Yeah.
about things and like memories are popping up. I'm like, it was only 5 years ago that I graduated, and I forget half of
And
my
I feel
university
like
experience.
in friend groups too, like a lot of those friend groups, a couple of people are probably going to need those photos for like their wedding slideshows and
Or
whatnot,
for like
too.
when they do it at the table number, like they put a
Exactly.
photo. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for steering the ship of this episode, Izzy. You're kind of the host. You weren't really the guest. You were kind of the host, but you still get to say your goodbye into the camera. So what do you want to impart? What do you want your final thing to say?
Thank you so much for having me on. I love doing this show. I don't really know what I would say as my sign off because
Everyone follow Izzy on TikTok.
On
it's a pizza
TikTok.
pie. That's what
Follow
Sarah
Talking
calls
Fast
me.
Show. Follow
Yeah.
Is a Pizza Pie on TikTok.
Izzy
Also-
runs
Here,
on TikTok
no.
like no one else.
Welcome back to our voicemail segment, where every week we try and give you the best advice or help you get to know a little bit more about us. So are you ready for voicemail Number 1.
I'm ready and I'm hyped.
The first one sitting in our voicemail inbox. Is this still called an inbox if it's a voicemail? No,
For
it's
sure.
called sitting in your voicemail. I don't know. I was born in 1996. Anyways, rank the movie watching experiences. At home, in the theater, or at the drive-in.
This is a big 3. This is the big 3.
This is where else are you going to watch a movie?
I think you have to give it to the theater.
As number 1.
As number 1.
Okay, caveat.
Oh.
It's so pretentious.
No, I have a caveat too, and I hope it's not the same. It could be the same one.
I only will go in the VIP theaters.
Oh, it's not the same one.
Unless it's like an
bougie.
IMAX, unless it's an IMAX experience or something like you're going for like that. I only go VIP because now, like, what's the point? Like, I want the big. I don't want to be like, close to someone. I don't want to be like
Granted,
fighting
you
over
gotta
an
be
armrest.
you gotta be like careful about that because there's some VIP theaters that aren't actually that VIP. I'm looking at you. Bloor Bay Theater. It's a VIP theater up there, Cineplex, and they're like 5 seats.
Oh,
and I would
yeah,
take my
that
living
one's-
room
no,
over going to that
one's
VIP
not, okay,
theater.
that one's not a real VIP. You have to go to like the one on the Queensway or the one at Yonge Dundas Square. It's a true VIP experience.
Okay,
But I
yeah.
like not having to like fight over, oh, who's getting this cup holder? Like who gets the armrest? Like at the IMAX of Oppenheimer, I literally sat like this the whole time, like with my arms in because I wasn't sure. So VIP movie going experience is the best. And there are some theaters that are strictly like recliners now. Like Landmark Cinemas out in Whitby is like strictly recliners, even if you buy a general
I
admission
did
ticket.
go up to Yonge and Shepherd here in Toronto for Oppenheimer the other day. IMAX theater, not like the 70 mil or anything like
Yeah.
that. But it was nice. The
It was
chairs
good
were nice.
as
Yeah.
long as the chair's nice. But I think movie like it's the only time you're fully like immersed in it, right? Like there's no distractions. Like I'm not picking up my phone in the movie theater.
For sure. Although there still was a guy, 2 people ahead of me, who like was addicted to his phone and checking his WhatsApp messages and not even responding to people, just looking at who had texted him.
Oh, he was waiting for a
maybe,
text
like,
that was never gonna come.
maybe, yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Or maybe he was waiting for a text that was going to be bad news that never came, and it's
That's
happy.
true. What's your number 2? Because I think we both agree movie theaters.
Okay, but I
number
have my caveat, and I feel bad now because I called you out for being bougie, for it being your caveat being VIP, because my caveat for movie theaters being number 1 is if they have a Coca-Cola freestyle machine.
Oh,
I want to be mixing
your own
those
drink.
sodas.
You just
Yeah, I was
so
actually
like
so psyched.
Scotiabank is like your favorite.
Exactly,
then.
and a lot of them, 100%. Yeah, because they have one or they have 2, maybe even 3.
I think they have like 3. Yeah,
And
3.
I went up to this Yonge and Shepherd Theater to see Oppenheimer, and I was like, this is going to be a great experience. Cannot wait to slam together Barks Root Beer and Coke.
That's what
And
you do?
I mix a ton of them. I'm a menace when it comes to the Coke freestyle machine.
Actually, it's not surprising
Sometimes
because you
I'm going
put
for
weird food together, so no
Yeah.
wonder you'd put like a free for all of drinks.
We're looking. Do you know how many
Well, you would
flavors of
come
Sprite
back with
there
so
are?
many
A lot.
cavities on a cruise ship. Like that's what it is on cruise ships. Did you know that? It's all freestyle machines that you buy a
That's
cup,
why I can't go on a cruise ship. For
and
sure.
that's like all you get is the freestyle Coke machines
Really?
on a cruise ship, on a Royal Caribbean cruise at least. Yeah.
Royal Caribbean, if you're watching, listen. You're
Send Jacob on a
You are looking at your target audience
For a brand ambassador for your freestyle Coke machines. Wow.
Yeah. Underneath that, I would say at home.
I do too, because I think the awkwardness of sitting in a car is the bottom. Like it's fun to do once in a while, but like
It's
again,
also tough to get a spot. If you
and
don't get a
there's
good
double
spot, sometimes it's-
features, and then you have to do the radio thing. You have to get up if you want, and then it's just like, what's the best way? Are you just sitting in the front 2 seats? Do you put the back seats down? Like I just think that's too many logistics.
Drive-in could be number 1 for a certain type of movie, but not every movie. Like a romantic comedy, a lighthearted
Mm-hmm.
movie, a summer blockbuster, for sure. But like if you're looking for some art house cinema,
Yeah,
you're not sitting
no.
in the back of your car being like
No.
trying to critique something.
I agree. I think at home is definitely the second option.
Plus, you can have unlimited snacks
That is true.
and hit pause.
Yeah, and hit pause
Hello?
and subtitles. The one thing that
Do you go subtitles?
I didn't used to.
Big debate.
I didn't used to, and then I became a subtitles girly in the pandemic.
How big is your TV?
40. I don't know. 42.
Okay, I
inches?
think that's too small for subtitles.
47. How big is a TV supposed to be? I don't know. I have one of those curved TVs though.
Oh, do you really?
I didn't buy it. That's I would never pay for a curved TV. But I have a curved TV. I use subtitles. Yes, not on everything. On just something like Oppenheimer, I would have loved to have subtitles on.
Yeah, me too.
And then anything with a song, I'd love to have subtitles on. It's easier for me to follow along.
Otherwise, I get distracted though. I feel like I'm not looking at the movie.
Yeah, that's true. You're just like looking at the screen.
But sorry, drive-in, you're number 3. What about?
Did you forget? What are you doing?
Wait, did we finish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
waiting for like a couple minutes to
Okay.
ask a question.
Voicemail question number 2: things you are most looking forward to this fall.
I hated
Shout
this.
out fall. Like I
No,
said, only a couple
hated
more
this
months
question.
left.
Have I talked about my dislike for fall on
Yeah,
the
you
podcast
hate
before?
fall. You hate fall beverages. You hate breakfast food. You hate brunch. You hate just like.
I don't hate brunch. I hate breakfast foods, but I don't hate. I'm not a brunch
You can own
connoisseur.
it. You can own it.
Make me a villain about how much I don't like brunch. Okay. I just don't. Well, the thing about brunch, this is a side note, is I don't like paying like $55 for something I'm not even enjoying. Like brunch is not like.
Listen, everyone's got their thing. That's yours.
And it eats up the whole middle part of the day. Anyways, fall. I'm
What are
in
you looking for?
denial.
Let's get this positive. What are you looking forward to?
I
Nothing?
okay.
Cozy sweaters?
Like
Pumpkin spice lattes?
no, I hate pumpkin spice lattes for real. Fall depresses me because I despise winter and love summer so much, and I just see fall as the transition into sadness.
What about crunching leaves under your boots?
I live in downtown Toronto. Like
We've got leaves.
I know, but like I'm not going and like frolicking in Trinity Bellwoods Park like to crunch leaves and like do a little photo shoot in like my cable knit
Sarah-
sweater and my Uggs. Like that's not happening. I've never been a fall girl. I don't mind the weather like cooling down where I can wear. I love a leather jacket, so I love leather jacket season. That's like my favorite part about fall. I love that it's no questions asked. I'm wearing a jacket to the bar. I'm wearing a jacket out. I'm always bringing a jacket. I love it. I love that part of the weather. I love New York in the fall, and I go to New York every fall. I'm going to be in New York in the fall to watch your marathon.
Good time for a race.
So, yeah. And I think running in the fall is going to be great for my first half. I think it's good timing. And I like Halloween. I guess that's what I'm looking forward to about fall. But the second is past like October 31st, I'm out on fall. Like it's not, I guess it's winter in my brain as of November 1st.
Do you get hyped for Christmas though? Like, are you one of the people that are like, okay, Halloween's done, let's get the Christmas decorations
I
up
don't put
next
the
day?
Christmas decorations up until like end of November, but like I like the Christmas tree to light up my apartment. But
When do you
that's
start
when-
listening to Christmas music?
I don't really listen to Christmas music.
We're learning a lot about you. And we're also learning that I'm a fall.
Yeah,
and
what are
Christmas girly.
you most what are you most excited about for fall?
Everything I listed above.
This is hilarious because like literally I was texting Tara today and she's like, by the time you come back from, because I'm away for like while this podcast goes out, I'm
Yeah.
like a 3-week not being here. She goes, it's gonna be fall by the time you come back, and I was like, don't say that. Like I don't like fall. And
I
she
know. I
was
was gonna
yelling
say, you're
at
gonna
me.
be. Is Montana a big fall place? Seems like it could be.
No, Montana. It's also the end of August. It's gonna be 32 degrees. It's not gonna be
guess.
fall. And
Yeah.
people, this is my PSA. Everybody thinks, and I think it is back to school propaganda, that they make you think it's fall as soon as it hits September 1st. The summertime is still here until the end of September. It is still summer until like September 20th. So do not go and start pushing fall stuff on me. I'm looking at you, Dollarama, who already has Halloween stuff in the stores right now.
Yeah, I saw
It is
Loblaws
ridiculous.
has like Thanksgiving cakes out.
No. Wrong.
Not ready for it. Let's move
Not
on.
ready.
Let's move on.
Anyways.
We're getting bad vibes here.
Okay, so now still about weather, kind of. It's a rainy day, Jacob. It's pitter pattering on the windows. How are you spending your rainy day? If you had the perfect rainy day.
If it's, you know what? I'm gonna just say it's a day off. Even if it's in the middle of the week, I'm saying it's a good day to kind of be lazy with it. You know,
I don't think you've ever taken a day off. Okay,
but
yes,
answer
yeah.
emails from the couch, maybe.
Okay.
You know, maybe throw on a comfort show. For me, that's like How I Met Your Mother, to be in the background.
Okay.
And then, you know what? We're probably gonna order some takeout.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna tip the delivery person well
Because it's raining,
Because it's
correct?
raining outside. Don't forget to do that. And then probably just take it easy. I love
like
a good
that.
excuse to relax. And rain is like, oh, it's raining outside. Guess I should do less.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I find I'm actually on rainy days, I'm really productive in the morning because I can just stay at home and like I tidy, I putter, I do all that stuff because it's like, oh, I don't feel like I have anywhere to be. Like I don't feel like I'm missing out on the sunshine. Because when it's really nice outside, I'm like twitching. I'm like, I feel like I should be on a patio or I need to be like outside doing something. And I feel like when it's a rainy morning, especially, I can like pitter patter around my apartment, tidy up, maybe like
Pitter patter putter.
pitter patter putter
You don't strike me as someone who putters very much.
around my apartment.
Yeah.
When it comes to like tidying, I just go tidy.
Are you like a constant tidy
tidier
person?
Yeah, it's never clean, but constantly tidy. Yeah.
Same.
I pay someone to come and actually deep clean it, but I like am constantly having it tidy. But I'm not afraid to throw everything in a second bedroom and then close the door and be like, it's clean.
We were talking about this off camera, just on my Instagram posts that are highly curated. But most of the time, it's just like, whoa, look at these nice chairs in the front. And then if you saw the back view, it'd be like
Yeah.
other chairs piled up that look like
But
shit.
also says actually on a rainy day, I love cleaning. I love a good clean on a rainy day.
Yeah, it's a good excuse.
And same, I'm like ordering Thai food or something cozy and warm, ramen, something like really good. I'm not cooking and I'm like sitting on the couch, and right now I would be sitting on the couch watching Vanderpump Rules. That's what I'd be doing on a rainy day. Not bad. Anyways, you could also listen to this podcast on a rainy day or a sunny day, or if you're on a run or wherever. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to us. As always, we will be here every single Wednesday. I've been Sarah. That's been Jacob. And we'll see you next week.